Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Also, if you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Daily Compliance News for October 28, 2024, the Lights On in South Africa edition. And we begin with that story from Bloomberg. Yes, it is actually news that the lights are now on in South Africa. Why? Because the incredible corruption of the power company Eskom has been ended. And after light years of blackout, South Africa is now being able to keep the lights on. It shows the invidiousness of corruption and what it does. The lights have been on and off in South Africa literally since 2008. Next up from Reuters, yet another U.S. judge has become the latest to reject the inane claims that the National Labor Relations Board structure is unconstitutional, saying that existing federal precedent foreclosed that argument by a hospital operator. Of course, it's only been 90 years that the NLRB has been constitutional, and given the Supreme Court's recent decisions, some companies have claimed that the NLRB and indeed the National Labor Relations Act and indeed the Wagner Act is all unconstitutional, of course, in a blatant attempt to do rid of labor unions in America. From the BBC, a very troubling story about a group of migrant fishermen who were victimized by modern slavery in Scotland. A Ghanaian crew was rescued from Scottish trawlers in 2020, and they were awarded £20,000 each as compensation by the U.S. government. So this is not third world country. This is Scotland. And they were trapped on these boats. There was no dignity, no respect. And once again, if you wonder where modern slavery occurs, well, guess what? On a trawler in Scotland. And our final story is a lengthy story in the Wall Street Journal about what happened to Boeing. And it's really a great read to show you what happens when small steps in corporate culture lead to huge problems. And you see how Boeing's step-by-step approach to move from profits over everything, including employees, including safety, including culture, how Boeing moving its corporate offices to Chicago to get away from its workforce, how Boeing outsourcing basically their safety function to third parties who were independent contractors, all led to the destruction of this once great American company. As I mentioned at the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.